Welcome to the Bottle Poppin' Podcast, where Meg and Heather share their love for oils, friendship, and entrepreneurship. Let's get it poppin'.
Hey everyone, this is Meg.
Hi there, this is Heather.
And we are the Bottle Poppin' Podcast. So Heather, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to pop open a conversation about doTERRA's new Serenity Sleep System. This just got expanded on last week while we were at convention. The oil already existed and they said has not changed. And so if you want to hear more about the oil specifically, we discussed that a couple episodes ago. Episode 98 is all about Serenity oil. So today we're going to talk about the other two products that came out or have been updated in this sleep line.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because this sleep line really covers all three bases. So aromatic, internal, and topical. And they've made it really easy to use these products in those ways.
They definitely said the system works together as a whole. So that would imply that you are diffusing the Serenity oil, which again, we talked about a couple episodes ago. But then the two new or updated products is the soft gels have been updated. And then they now have a new Serenity Stick.
So they shared some statistics about sleep. 2 out of 3 adults in the US do not get enough sleep, which is huge. Like 2/3 of the population, adult population, are not getting either adequate sleep or getting quality sleep. And it's really cool because with everything in doTERRA, they did a ton of research. They did a whole study on this. The study is fascinating, but it helped people across the board get better quality sleep and sleep more adequately. So enough time and that type of thing.
Yeah. And I really liked that they kind of referred to sleep as a time to do a deep clean for your body once a day, because they were talking about how crucial sleep is to cellular cleansing, immune function, memory, rebuilding and repairing. And yet we take that for granted. They had mentioned that sleep is one of the most undervalued things in our modern day society. We're so worried about getting things done quickly and try to fit so much into a day that sleep just kind of gets pushed aside to our detriment. Because if we're not sleeping well, like Meg said, that, we have all of these other consequences during the day that my understanding, and I think that I can feel this too, that if I have several days of not sleeping well, that all starts to tack on to each other. My function definitely is affected if I do not get enough sleep, especially several days in a row.
Yeah. Okay. So I can share from personal experience. I went through a period of time a few years ago where my husband and I had a big decision to make. And every night when I laid down to go to bed, I just could not turn off my brain. It's like my brain started going through all these different scenarios of what was going on. And that was when I learned that vetiver specifically helps turn off that part of the brain. And so I used the oil and I had the best night's sleep ever. But this was after a month of basically not sleeping. And it wasn't just like the decision, but it impacted everything. I had zero energy. I struggled at work to like turn on my brain. I'm sure I struggled physically as well. I don't remember, but I'm sure even like my skin and stuff were impacted for sure. My hormones were impacted by that. And so just to use an oil and finally get good sleep. And then literally maybe 2 nights of getting good sleep, I was able to make the decision. It was not as hard of a decision as my brain had turned it into from like spinning and spinning and spinning. And so it's really cool now to have a whole system of oils that's going to help people with that.
I think that's because your like critical functions needed to be prioritized. And so trying to make a decision was your brain's like, I can't do that right now. You're not getting enough sleep. I'm going to decide to make your organs and everything work properly. So the decision making is on the back burner for right now, lady.
Yeah, seriously. They also like shared at convention things like memory is impacted by lack of sleep. So if you're somebody who struggles or feels like you're losing your memory, it might be that you need extra support with sleep.
And let me say too that vetiver is in the Serenity oil blend. And so what Meg was just talking about, that is one of the primary oils in the Serenity blend. Soft gels already existed. I had good success with the soft gels prior to. The one thing that I had heard multiple people say with the soft gels is that when they first started taking the soft gels, they would have very vivid dreams, sometimes nightmares.
Mhm.
And I think that that's interesting after listening to a lot of the research on sleep that they discussed, because they really talked about how certain parts of our sleep, we've got different sleep cycles that we go through, and certain parts of that is our brain processing information that we have either received through the day or decisions that we're trying to make, and how our brain makes these connections, but not always in a way that makes complete sense to us and our rational mind. So thinking back on the original Serenity and the fact that some people were having nightmares with it, you wonder if that's just their brain making those connections. And after it makes those connections, hopefully those nightmares go away. All that to be said, I have had none of those issues on this new updated soft gel blend, and I'd be curious to know if others have. The biggest change with this soft gel blend is they have added tart cherry to it. And tart cherry provides a non-habit forming, low dose, naturally occurring source of melatonin.
It's not just that it helps your body create melatonin. So that's why it's natural. So many supplements, sleep supplements out there have melatonin in it. And if you take melatonin every night, then you shut down your body's ability to create melatonin. And people don't know this either, but melatonin is a hormone. And all of your hormones work together. So if your body stops creating a hormone like melatonin because it's dependent on the supplement, then long term, it might help you short term sleep well, but long term, it's going to impact it. So it's really cool that they've added something that actually supports your body's natural ability to create melatonin.
Okay, well, and just to kind of take this full circle, because again, yes, doTERRA is an essential oil and a supplement company. But let me tell you, they care about you and your whole body and your whole person. And so, yes, they educated on all of these actual products, but they also spent a lot of time talking about how to naturally produce melatonin in your body. It is triggered by darkness. So they spent a lot of time talking about one of the ways of getting into good sleep habits is by starting to use dim lights, not using technology and cell phones and all of the blue light stuff. So I think it's really interesting that we've created these habits as humans, especially technology based right before bed now, that are not allowing our body to create the melatonin it needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we struggle with sleep. And it turns into this vicious cycle. So yes, there are these products, but at the same time, they also spent a lot of time about how to
the lifestyle around it.
Yes, the lifestyle around it, how to honor our natural circadian rhythm, stuff like that, which I think is important too.
Yeah, definitely. So the other thing that tart cherry does is it is a natural form of tryptophan. So I think most people, if they've ever heard of tryptophan, they've heard it in relation to turkey. So turkey has
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, you're going to feel tired after eating it, but tart cherry has the same effect. And the cool thing with tryptophan is it is a required precursor for serotonin. And so if you are somebody who struggles with anxiety, it's because your body's not making enough serotonin. So I would assume, based on that getting good quality sleep, getting tryptophan in the form of tart cherry is probably going to help you with anxious feelings as well during the daytime.
Interesting. And this was one that they said that if you are somebody that has trouble falling asleep, this was the part of the sleep system that is probably your biggest priority because it's going to help you fall asleep easier. The oil diffusing hopefully helps you stay asleep throughout the night, but the soft gels hopefully help you fall asleep faster.
Yeah. And as far as the dreaming part goes, I definitely haven't had nightmares, but I'm not really a nightmare person. But I have had more vivid dreams. And I don't mean vivid, like scary or active, but just like in the mornings, I remember my dreams. So like I told my husband this morning, or I guess last night, I dreamt that somebody made me the most delicious pancake. And it was just one pancake. It didn't have syrup or anything on it. And it was grain-free. And I was like, this is amazing. This is going to be my regular breakfast. And then to wake up this morning and be like, oh man, that was a dream. Like, I want that breakfast.
Where's my pancake?
Yeah. I feel like every night, so I've been taking this for just over a week now, and every night I've had some type of dream where I really remember details, like the fact that it was a grain-free pancake and there was nothing else on it. So that's just kind of interesting and kind of fun too.
And I will agree that so again, also been taking it for a week now. The first few nights, I definitely had dreams that I remembered in the morning. The last 3 nights, I would say, I have slept really heavy. Definitely wake up not remembering dreams and almost still in a slumber. I told Meg before we started that I think it was about 4 nights ago. I woke up, my alarm went off, and I got out of bed and full on like walked sideways into the wall like I was drunk or something. Like, and it took me a second to be like, okay, body is not awake yet.
Still in deep sleep mode.
Yeah. So luckily that's the only morning that has happened. And my lesson learned there was that I need to take the soft gels 30 minutes before I want to fall asleep. I think that night before I had gone to bed a little bit late already, and then I took the soft gel right when I was going to sleep. So my mind, I think that my guess is that my body had not gotten that full allocation of time with it. And so ever since then, I've been taking it 30 minutes before I intend to actually fall asleep. And that has been much better in the mornings. I don't feel drunk in the mornings because, okay, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just going to add one other thing because, again, sleep experts say this, and this is something that unfortunately most people can't do. But ideally, you should not wake up with an alarm clock and you should let your body naturally wake up. But when you wake up with an alarm clock, in that instance, it could be that you are in the deep sleep cycle of sleeping. And that's not a good time to wake up. And that is like one of the side effects. And again, most of us have to wake up with an alarm clock because we have to show up to work or get the kids to school or whatever it might be. But that might have played into it as well.
Yes, I totally agree. And I would love to send a little note to the school saying, I'm sorry, we don't wake up to alarm clocks. We'll be there when we get there.
Exactly. Again, that's what I said. Most people can't do this, but that is a sleep expert recommendation.
Well, and that said, okay, so we just spent last week together at convention and both of us woke up without alarms every single day and early, our normal times. So would I wake up without an alarm? Probably. The alarm is more of a reminder. And there are many days where I wake up before the alarm anyways, 5 minutes before, and then I just turn the alarm off so I don't even have to hear it. But yes, I did want to say too, a long, long time ago, prior to husband and kids, I wanted to sleep well. I knew that sleep was important and I was not a good sleeper, probably part lifestyle, but it was what it was. I was someone that took Tylenol PM just to be able to have a good night's sleep. Not pain. I had no pain, but the Tylenol PM was what I knew would knock me out in a way that it would let me get sleep. I felt so groggy every single morning. It took so long to wake up. And I know I just told you that a couple of mornings ago, I felt a little off balance, when I woke up, but it was not that same feeling of grogginess at all. And it has not happened again. But it kind of triggered that memory of, oh yeah, wow, I used to be somebody that took Tylenol PM just to sleep. And I think my family now would kind of be surprised if they heard me say that because I am not somebody that takes medications and stuff, particularly if I don't need to. So glad to have this now.
So interesting. And I didn't think about this. I was a pretty good sleeper until a few years ago, but I have a rare spine disease and I was on pretty serious muscle relaxers. And so maybe that's part of why I had really good sleep.
Would you wake up feeling groggy in the morning?
Oh, yeah. It was mornings were miserable for me.
Interesting.
And I would have multiple snoozes, hit the snooze multiple times just to try to get up enough to get out of bed. And I've totally forgotten about that. So ironically, I was supposed to be on muscle relaxers the rest of my life because I still have my spine issue, but thanks to some natural solutions, that's not needed. And I've totally moved on.
Love it. Okay, so let's move on to the next product. I think we both agree we like the soft gels. The soft gels are super effective and non-habit forming. They're not the medication. So yay on all check boxes. This new product I have to say, I absolutely love. It
Same.
smells delicious. It is super soft and smooth to apply. The first night that I put it on my daughter's feet, she was like, "Do it again. It feels so good."
Oh, I love that.
This is the new Serenity Stick plus Valerian. It smells really, really good. I think in the Serenity episode, I said, okay, I like the smell, not one of my favorites. I don't know how the Valerian adds to this because you've said you've smelled Valerian on its own and it's not nice. This smells
Right.
so good.
It does. It smells so good. But I think what I like about it even more is the texture of it. So it is a stick, but it's like a lotion stick. And so already a week into using it, I feel like my feet are softer as well. And they really recommended, wherever you put it, and I've been putting it on the bottom of my feet, is to massage it in. And so it's like a layer of self-care. It smells good. It's helping get into the body again because it's not just pure oil. It's basically oil with the carrier, but the carrier is this like lotion stick. And yeah, it's so good. I've also been rubbing it on the back of my neck. I don't know if you've been putting it anywhere else.
I have my neck too. My neck and wrist is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I did my kids' feet, but I've done my neck and wrist.
And it's lovely. Totally lovely.
It is. It's really nice. And I feel like this was an easy addition to the actual sleep system routine. So happy to have this. And I have already decided that as soon as this one becomes available, which is it November for this one?
No, this is available in October.
Okay, so next month already, I will be probably buying, I think it's a limit of 2 up front, but I will probably be buying 2 each month for the next couple of months because this would make the perfect Christmas gift.
Mm-hmm. Stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody could use better sleep. And this is just so easy to apply. It smells wonderful. I think everybody should have one.
I totally agree. But I will say, so one of the things that they showed with the study that they did, it was an 8-week long study. And so the first week of the program, people took nothing. So just to get a good baseline. And then the next week, they added on diffusing the oil. The week after that, it was diffusing the oil and taking Serenity. And then the week after that, they added the stick. And progressively, people's sleep got better and better. But they said it was a few weeks of using everything before people saw dramatic changes. So while giving just the stick is an awesome gift, if you're able to give or encourage people to get the full system, because then they're going to get the full benefits of supporting their sleep in all these different ways.
And connected to that, I just came across some of my notes that I think that are important to mention as well, that when they were doing the research, they look for different safety markers and measure those to make sure that nobody's having any adverse effects to it. So they're looking at things like liver, kidney, blood, urine, and they're making sure that there are no significant changes that would be negative for people. And they said that there were no significant changes in any markers and no side effects. So I think that's really important once you start talking about sleep things that, again, Tylenol PM user over here, muscle relaxer user over there have side effects. These don't have side effects, which is huge.
And actually what they showed from the blood test is that these had significant improvements. And so one of the blood tests that they did was C-reactive protein. And that's the top marker in a blood panel for inflammation in the body. And across the board, that went down. So again, if somebody is struggling with aches and pains, and especially like when your HS C-reactive protein is high, which is another one, I don't know if they talked on that one specifically, but like you really, really hurt. And maybe even your aches and pains are impacting your sleep. So using something like this to really help your body relax at night, work through things, take out the trash, with all the toxins that also are causing that type of inflammation, that's huge. And so it was really cool to see the research on the other side. Like not only are there no negative side effects, but there's now documented, I guess, improvements, positive side effects.
Yeah, positive benefits. Yeah.
Benefits. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, so we're 1 weekend, really enjoying the system. Definitely plan on continuing to use it. And I think we'll have to do an update in a couple of months just so that we can further provide information based on our real life experience at that point. Do you have anything specific to say about the system? Because otherwise, I do want to kind of just give a couple of the other tips that they gave for supporting sleep, just in case somebody's not aware.
Yeah, I do want to throw in one thing. So, and I don't think I mentioned this in our episode about Serenity. I think I might have even said that I don't use this oil that often, but I have really enjoyed diffusing it at night. And I forgot one of my favorite diffuser blends for bedtime is Serenity and Breathe. And so now you're supporting your respiratory system while also supporting sleep. So if you want a fun diffuser combo, definitely do that.
And that's my kids' favorite too. So I did that last night for them. Yes.
Nice.
Okay. So a few tips for supporting sleep. This might seem obvious to some, but I think it's worth mentioning because not everybody knows. So they recommend no caffeine 6 to 8 hours before bed. Avoid eating 2 hours before bed. Avoid heavy exercise an hour before bed. Avoid artificial or blue light in the evenings. And then first thing in the morning, try to get natural light. Doing those things, plus diffusing the Serenity oil, taking the soft gel internally, and then applying the Serenity stick and breathing it in aromatically are your best bets for quality sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So important. It's funny because I think everybody knows that a bedtime routine is important for kids, and we forget that that's actually just important for all humans. And so this kind of reiterates it, and that routine doesn't start the moment you climb into bed, but it could and should start a few hours before, like with reducing light exposure, that type of thing. So yeah. All right. Well, anything else on the system?
I don't think so. I am enjoying sleep and I want others to enjoy it too and get the most out of their days from sleeping well the night before. So get the sleep system. If you need help with that, ask us and we can help you get that.
Yep. I'm really excited about this. This is the thing that I was most excited about because I just think it's so needed and so many people are going to benefit from this whole system. So thank you so much for listening, and we will have a brand new episode for you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information, you can follow these bottle poppin' ladies at bottlepoppinpodcast.com. Tune in next week to learn about what bottle we're poppin'. Until next time, take care. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This podcast is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.